Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Hello, my loves, and welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Lala Key, and I am your host today. And today we're discussing something that many people, especially women, struggle with, and that is choosing the right partner. Actress Cree Summer recently shared that even in her 50s, she's 55, she finds it hard to pick a good partner. But why is that? What makes choosing the right person so difficult for so many of us? And how do we navigate dating and relationships while staying true to ourselves? So we definitely want to break this down today. And I have a wonderful royal court today. I have Tierra Williams, Miss Black Hollywood. I have Joe Corley, licensed therapist, mental wellness coach, and educator. And Marlo Layson, TV film producer. Hello, loves. How are you today? I hope you had a beautiful weekend. We're going to start this week off kind of hot and ready because you know what? Nobody really wants to be alone. I don't think most people you talk to and everybody and my friends, even my singles, is like, I really would love to be a partner. So she feels that she doesn't really know how to pick a good partner, even though she had been married before for 10 years. So what are your initial thoughts on this? Do you think that it gets harder as you get older to pick a good partner? I'm going to start with you, Marlo.
I don't know if it's necessarily harder, but I think once you actually set a standard for yourself, you decide what it is that you like, what you don't like, what you're willing and unwilling to tolerate. I think maybe the pool gets a little thinner. I consider myself very lucky that I am not in the pool anymore. But I think that it just, from the time that I was single after my first marriage, I definitely think that it's just harder because you know what you want and people be sending their representatives. So
I got you. I think as you get older, you kind of settle into knowing yourself better as well. And you also desire a little more peace. So therefore, you don't want any kind of the drama that we usually hear that's out here in the streets. I too am married. So Joshua wanted to know who was married. I'm married. Joe is married. Marlo is spoken for, and Tierra is a single lady. So you got a lot of different points here. So, and how about you, Josh? Are you married? So what about you, Joe? Do you think it gets a little harder?
Yeah, I don't want to insult anybody because I've never had to, make this choice or figure this out for myself. So I will say, from my experience as a therapist, talking to people, it does seem to get a little harder because you get set in your ways, and a lot of those you're not really like flexible as you once were. Like Marlo said, you don't have that. The things that you were tolerated, the things that you were allowed as you get older, obviously decrease, right? So that's just from my experience. But for me, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I've been locked up since I was in my 20s. So
Me too. So you're just about where I am. We've been married 33 years. How about you, Joe?
I have been married for 17 years plus.
Oh, we doing things. We're out here. We got partners and stuff. But I'm happy about that. I don't want to be in the dating pool. How about you, Tierra? What is your thoughts? You think it gets harder?
Absolutely. I think, when we were 20, I mean, it's so funny because I hear often people say like, "Oh, you should have chose your husband when you were in your 20s or during your college days." It just gets a little tougher, right? To find people who are aligned with you or people who haven't been through all the baggage and all the damage and coming up as a traumatized version of themselves, or people trying to like going through a midlife crisis, like all types of things. I see all types of things as I swim in the pool, and I'm not interested. I would rather be like Cree than to be somewhere just for the sake of being there, if that makes sense. But you know what? I do meet a lot of great Black men, and I'm not going to say like it's completely peed up, but because I do meet good men, but it's just a matter of like, I think timing and all of the things. I think the stars have to align for partnership. Everybody can't be your partner, that one that you want to spend your life with. I'm pretty sure you guys can all attest to that. Like, you can't just be
Yeah.
like, you come here, let's do this forever. Like, you got to really take your time with that thing.
Yeah, you really do. And you have to put a lot of thought into it as well. Like you'll always hear me say, equally yoked, which is very, very important. But we're asking the same question of you, family. We've got Jashawn out here telling us that he's divorced, but he thinks that, giving good advice about relationship usually comes from those who are successful at it. Well, you've got a very balanced person here. We're happy to see Christina. We're happy to see Double A and Black Lexicon and C White. You guys are always here for us. But let's actually see what Cree has to say, because honestly, when I saw this, I felt her heart, and she came to an epiphany, and her epiphany warmed my heart as well. So let's check it out.
So embarrassing to say at 55. I don't think I've clearly chosen a partner that's compatible for me. Yet, with all I know, I'm too smart to have chosen what I've chosen,
Yeah.
Yeah. I could have given myself the credit for how intelligent I really am.
Even actually when you were talking in the beginning about, the kind of people who approach you and like, well, that's just who approaches me. I'm like, well, who do you approach?
I don't approach anybody.
Why not?
I've never done that before. Ever. I don't think I've ever approached a man. I've never asked a man out.
Why?
I don't know now that we're talking about it. I mean, now that I think about it, I mean, what is there to lose?
Right. Yeah. And then you get to actually be in the driver's seat and select.
And I do love the driver's seat.
That's to give yourself credit to not just that you didn't pick the right people, but you have to wait statistically for the right person to pick you.
Yes, what a lovely gift. You're so right. Maybe I'll give it a try.
You really should.
I think I should.
Your best sex, your best relationship, your most erotic life is like that way.
Woo!
That's really cool.
It's very cool.
A lot of people.
Very cool.
It's way better.
I do. Now I want to try it. Oh my God, my girlfriends are just going to be like, bitch, we heard you say it on camera. It's on.
I just love that whole epiphany thing, that whole interaction. Well, it's just like girlfriends sitting down talking the way they need to do. So listen, why do you think, and I'm asking everybody, including those who are watching, if you're single, if you're dating, why do you think picking the right partner is so challenging, even as we get older? And I'm going to ask you, Joe, because I want you to come to us with the therapist aspect. I know you have a lot of people that come to you. So why do you think it's so hard for people to pick the right partner?
Well, first, a lot of people do not take the time to deal with their early attachment wounds, right? So you have to start there, and then you're leading in relationships with your hurts and your open wounds versus your full, whole, healed, authentic self. So you're looking to fill in spaces that were left empty by your childhood instead of something that pairs or is a good companion with the person that you are today or the person that you're potentially becoming. So that's the major part that people lack in. And then, from there it's just a free for all of all types of reasons that, I'm saying, that we can cascade into. A lot of it is the fact that people don't they become hyper independent. They start, trying to over accommodate in relationships, especially Black women over time have developed this hyper independence out of necessity. I know I don't want to take away that for that part, but out of necessity, and then it's hard to dial that back once it starts dialing in, and then the cultural pressure of being alone or the fear of being alone starts to set in. So you start to relax a lot of your boundaries and your standards, and letting people in that, oh, well, that's not too bad. Okay, well, uh, 8 fingers is okay, stuff like that.
8 fingers.
Fancy.
So you think they start to settle? Tiara, do you think that women, our age, the olders who are in the dating pool, that we start to settle?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I was just having a conversation with a good friend of mine, and she was like, and California is a little different because it's just a different place
Oh,
here. Like black men don't necessarily check for black women. So when you have a black man that is interested in you, we were having a conversation. She was like, I mean, he is 400 pounds, but is that okay? I mean, I wouldn't typically date him, but I mean, he's nice, but he smells like garbage sometimes because he can't. So it's like, I know this is a real conversation, y'all. I'm not. I'm not. I was like, girl, listen. We can't think in scarcity. Like, I understand what it looks like and what it feels like, but would you date him if there was more options? And she was like, absolutely not. And so that's just like an example of, I agree with what Joe said. And actually we talked about it a couple weeks ago on this show where, the matchmaker basically said that women are picking their traumas, not their type. And so ever since then, the good girls that likely don't have boundaries are chasing the bad boys, and distance feels like mystery, and we're reading all of those signs. Butterflies is anxiety, like reading it and making and romanticizing really your nervous system saying, sis, run. Like now when I'm dating somebody, and if I start to feel those ways in my body, I'll go, what is that? Is me getting all like anxious and butterfly? Is that really like, what does that mean for real? And not, allowing the feeling of it or the idea of it to take me over.
I think that is extremely interesting. And we're going to dig into so much more, but we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
That is a whole complete homework assignment for you. If you are ready to uplift yourself in your financial department, all you have to do is we have plenty of resources. Go to flynubianmoney.com. Do that today. Don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. Now, listen, I absolutely love that Jashawn is so talkative and back and forth with us today. And he said, would you also say that people often tend to follow the advice of society rather than what is right for them? And I'm going to throw that question to you, Marlo.
Absolutely. I think there's, social media has opened up a new portal of pressure for people, in terms of appearance, in terms of, relationships, in terms of their perceived social status. And so obviously relationships, we got the 50-50 conversation. We had the $40 conversation. We've had all of these weird conversations about relationships that make people I think, evaluate their own situations through other people's lens or through a falsified or a curated lens. And that certainly is not fair to us. So yeah, society has this social media, like all of us being not able to touch each other, but able to communicate and be together, has definitely tainted the pool even more so in terms of people's expectations, people's values. People's values seem to have diminished over like the past 10 or 15 years, right? So I think it is societal pressures are definitely a key component to not being able to figure out what you want in a life partner.
I think social media is the equivalent of those who always want to see what the hell Joneses are doing. They want to keep up with the Jones. They want to look like the Jones. They want to make sure that the Jones, okay, Jones got a new car, so let's be with the Jones and stuff. And so it has put a crink into everything that we do when we know that social media, a lot of it is a lie in the first place. And trying to keep up with something that is unrealistic will keep you single. I remember before the music videos came out, baby, you would have all these singers with crooked teeth and gray in their 40s and 50s coming out jamming. We still jamming to their music, but
Not quite attractive
videos, right? But the minute those videos killed the radio stars, everything changed. So I do think that social media and video and TV has changed our perceptions. But Joe, with that being said, what's the difference between emotional readiness and being ready to choose a partner for the long term?
Yeah. So women who are choosing emotional safety and boundaries, you know, we're mislabeling them sometimes as too independent or picky or all the other things. And women who don't prioritize those things are hearing that and don't want to be labeled as such. So they're jumping out into these situations where they're not ready, and they're not emotionally whole, or they're in situations that don't really suit them, and they're shrinking themselves to fit in spaces that are too big for them. And you know what I mean. And they're not comfortable. But the pressure to not be looked at as a lonely, or this is better than being alone, or you stick it out for the kids or the family. A good woman sticks it out, you know what I mean, and all these other things. Or a good man sticks it out and stays with this woman even though he's not happy, or he's got to keep it quiet and live that happy wife happy life type of situation. Meanwhile, he's suffering inside and doesn't feel emotionally safe enough to say what he needs to say. So he never feels whole. So all these things are the difference between someone who knows exactly who they are and they're with somebody who they know is safe enough for them to say what they feel out loud, versus shrinking themselves to just fit in a space that looks good in a picture.
Ooh, let me tell you something. You just hit something so important. Like this weekend, my husband and I, we always try to make sure that we have at least a full day just to us. I mean, we have time every day, but sometimes you just need to be like, you know what, Sunday's our day, right? And I am working on myself in an artist aspect, and I was able to feel safe enough to say things that I would never just say to anyone, not even considered bestie outside of our marriage. And then when I sat back and thought about it last night, I just literally had to say, thank you, God, for giving me the partner that I have, that I can say anything that I need to say to him, and he understands, and he'll be like, say what you need to say. I can't imagine not having that part. And I wish that for so many other people, because it is such a beauty in that. It's such a enlightenment in knowing that you can say anything to your partner and that partner will be like, okay, we're going to deal with that. And why do you think that is? And they start digging into that. And then you get this big old nice hug right after. And you can just cry and do the ugly cry. It's important. And that's why I feel so much for those who are still looking for that, because I am blessed enough to say that I have that. But a part of the thing that she did discuss, and I'm going to direct this question to you, Tatia, because you're a single panelist. Why do you think it's so hard for women to initiate relationships without feeling like they're chasing someone, because she had an epiphany. She had a whole epiphany on that show.
Yeah.
And she will try it.
Yeah, I think the thing about chasing there's a really fine line between chasing a man and allowing, that there's a line there, and actually like going after them, uh, because in traditional situation, a man is supposed to approach you. He chooses you in that way, right? Supposedly, like those are supposed to be the rules. Like, you allow a man to kind of come to you and gravitate towards you, and then you say, okay, you decide, you position yourself, and he says, and he comes if he's interested. But if he's not, then then there's nothing there. So I just think that it's a fine line, because you can get yourself in a situation where you're chasing somebody that may not be interested in you, or some, just naturally, like I said, the men are supposed to be the hunters and come out, go get the woman. So there's just a fine line. I will definitely compliment a man, and I'm not necessarily shoot my shot in a way like, what's up, I'm not coming to him like a man, but I'll definitely position myself and allow him to know that, like, hey, I'm interested. And if he doesn't like pick up what I'm putting down, you got to keep going. You can't be like, okay, he didn't pick it up, all right, I'm gonna get more aggressive, because then that makes you look crazy. Like, that's the chase. You put it there, and if you don't pick it up, you know what's up. Am I frozen? Okay. Lala, are you frozen?
I think
I think Lala's frozen.
Oh, I was like, oh, she was looking. I'm like, oh. I don't know. What do you say? What do you say, Marlo?
I think you're right. I think chasing, I mean, I don't even, honestly, I've never shot my shot at a man before.
Yeah.
But I say, in the relationship that I'm in now, it's taken ebbs and flows, right? And there's been times when he maybe was more pursuant than I was, and times when maybe I was more pursuant. So I think if you see something you want, certainly go get it. Don't stalk, right?
Don't
If
stop.
if there's not reciprocity, right? If that person isn't at least meeting you halfway, right? If you
Right.
going whole 80% every single time, the whole 100% every single time, that's a bad indicator. But I think if you give a little, because maybe it's a man that wants to be interested, wants a woman to show interest. I know a lot of men who have not experienced interest from a woman, or what they felt was true interest. So maybe he is trying to see how interested you are. So I think you got to gauge it, but definitely don't be if it's a one-sided conversation, that's a no. That's a talk at, not a talk with.
What do you say, Joe? Do you say that? I mean, has a woman ever shot her shot at you and you've been like, nah? I mean, what is that situation?
It's never offended me. I tell you that right. It's never offended me. But I don't fault any woman who doesn't want to shoot her shot at men. Like, if you're doing that because you enjoy being pursued versus society tells me that I'm not supposed to be the pursuer, that's a different situation. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you can miss out on something good, letting your ego and your pride take over. But like I said, I don't fault any woman for feeling like she wants to be chased a little bit, And so, I mean, because there's a funness to that, but there's a funness to it on the other side of it too. Like, there's a little funness to that. You know what I'm saying? There's somebody saying, "Hey, show looking good today." You know what I mean?
That's putting it down. That's putting it down. If you say thank you and keep it moving, not to be like, I said you looking good today.
Yeah.
You're looking fine. I love your car. Can I get your number? Like, then you gotta back it up, sis. You gotta back up. You gotta back up. That's not for you.
I ain't never been offended. Go ahead.
Joe said, "Put the pedal to the metal. It's fine.
Put the pedal to the metal. Put you don't mind a little pressure."
Yeah, I don't mind. Hey, look, I smile like, girl, go ahead now. Go ahead now.
Lala, did you shoot your shot at your husband?
Me?
Yeah, did you shoot your shot at your husband?
You know what? Yes. And I was going to share that with you guys, because we were really good friends in high school. And he said that he he was very interested in me. But at the time I was dating someone else. So he and I were just good friends. But when I woke up to like, this is a really good man. I went to him and I said, would you like to date this girl named Lala? And he was like, yeah. So that was when we were 19. So yeah, I did. We had a relationship, a friendship relationship, and I saw how much of a golden man he was. And I was like, we have the same principles. We both are artists. I just felt like it was time. And that was a big, big stretch for Lala. Lala didn't do things like that. But boy, am I glad I did. So with that being said, and the gremlins being in my system, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
I know you're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
Listen, I have to spend a little time on that Fly Nubian Money Club today because I don't think you understand the importance of what that is and what that really means when you become a member. Yes, we have a 30-day free trial, but baby, you're going to want to stick around. This past weekend, we had come in and ask us anything. And we had such a beautiful and lovely time. It was like a one-on-one with your girlfriends, and Dr. Boyce came in. So you never know what you're going to get. But I can tell you one thing, I know what you already had, and that's worth already the price of admission. So please, do not let this opportunity pass you by because there is training, there's upliftment, and like Tiara said, we are coming to save you. Government don't want to save you, but you need to up your financial house and your skills, and that's where you're going to get it. FlyNubianMoneyClub.com. Now, I had to say it because I had a good old time this past weekend.
It was a great time. Even Joe was like, when you going to do Ask a King? Ask the King. Take me to the King. Take me to the King.
I love it. Because we're fully rounded around these pieces, so you don't want to miss that. Now, here's the good thing, though, guys. Listen, if you join now, you will still have access to what we've done before, right? So get on in. Now, I'm going to ask you this, Marlo. So how do you balance self-love and independence while still being open to a healthy relationship?
Call me in 18 months. I'm still mastering that. I think it is one day at a time. I came into this relationship tremendously independent, not just financially independent, but doing things myself. And I've had to learn it's okay. I have somebody that's over 6 feet in the house. I don't have to always get the high things off the shelf. I can ask for help. I can, and it's just one of those things that you have to allow. I think it's so much about trust and who you are, knowing who you are and knowing who that person is. And I think that build the trust and all those other things that you ask will kind of fall into place because a lot of that is Joe could speak to this, I'm sure, a protective mechanism, right? If you've been let down, if things have gone undone, if you see that unless you do it, it's not going to get done, you're going to take that responsibility on. And so I think it really is about trust. And it's something that I'm learning. I'm learning to go hands off. I'm learning to be like, all right, he said he got it. I don't even have to worry about it. It's already done, because I didn't always have that ease of life. So I think your life experience plays so much into what your relationships are and will be. And I think that people, that sometimes goes overlooked.
I agree. Now I want to tell y'all something that just tickled me. Like, my husband heard me talking about the story of me saying, "Hey, you want to date this little Lala?" He said, "Listen here, woman, you was not Lala when you hollered at me. Since you telling the story, I'm the one who gave you that nickname." So yes, as you
Ah,
can tell, my husband watches this show as
He said,
well.
no
hey
retelling
Will.
of the history.
Hey
Hey,
Will,
Will.
keep like get it straight. Get him straight. She on here
I'm
lying.
the one who called you Lala.
She on here lying. You get her together. I love it.
Absolutely love it. But listen, this is a really good conversation because everybody deserves to be happy, healthy, and in a loving relationship. And I think a lot of people are scared or also, just don't think that it's possible, and it is.
Mhm.
So let's check out this other video and dig back into the conversation. It's a new perspective.
After seeing all the videos, I just watched the podcast episode of Cree Summer on Lovers by Shane. And when I tell you she spoke to my soul, she said that being older can feel invisible sometimes, but she never felt more beautiful. And not because someone told her she created that for herself. Like, that hit me. We don't need permission to feel beautiful. She's teaching her daughters not to fear aging because getting older isn't a decline, it's a level up. Then she got real about sex in her 50s. She said her libido got higher than ever and that young men approach her all the time and she's dating them. She's like, why not? Because they see her and they feel her energy. Then she talked about she liked getting choked. Yes, she said that. She said it's not just a kink because it makes her feel safe. She said it makes her feel held and provided for, and not in a sense of like money, it is in a sense of like, I got you. I mean, that, I'm not sure if I resonated with that. But she's done with being the strong one all the time. She wants to rest. She wants to feel soft and cared for. And that only happens with the right partner. And she's not chasing anyone, and she's not getting married just to say she's with someone. She's choosing from a place of wholeness, not from a place of loneliness, which that does happen as you get older. Because when you're younger, you're like, I just need to be with someone. That grown woman energy that Cree Summer has, honestly, I felt that in my chest. I feel like I've arrived there too. Your thoughts?
She threw the question out there, and I'm going to throw the question to you, Tiara. What was your thoughts about that? Like, she's kind of stepped into her power, like, right before us. So what are your thoughts about this lady's reaction to Creed?
Yeah, I believe that everything happens in divine timing and alignment. I think that what you want and what you are looking for is also looking for you. I believe that. I think one thing that is important, I think we've talked about it on this show, is for me personally, I've been like, okay, if I want a partner, then I just have to make sure that Tiara is together to be a good partner to somebody, right? So I do go to therapy. I've been in therapy for several years and I go every Tuesday, whether I need it or not. I come in there and be like, I was thinking, like it doesn't even matter whether, but I just think that's important. I read books on the topic of marriage and relationship. I understand the language of it. You know what I mean? So I just think that you don't have to be desperate. I mean, and definitely, I think the last piece is just putting yourself in the situation to, like I said, position yourself. Now, I can admit I don't get outside enough because I got some things to do, but I have been, also, I'm around and I'm open, and I think people see that. And I talk to guys, and, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm dating anybody, but I would definitely say, like, I have conversations and I'm getting to know. And so I think it's good. I mean, it's good.
Yeah, but I'm going to be very honest, Tiara. Your energy precedes you in a room, so they're
Gosh,
going to
doesn't it
feel
though?
you before you're there.
Yeah,
Period. So,
yeah.
and that has a lot to do with it. I mean, when you saw Cree, she was like, oh. Mhm. Oh, and you would perceive her. She's very beautiful. I mean, she
Mhm.
looks so fabulous. She's 55. Her skin is glowing. She seems so relaxed. She's always been kind of laid back and kind of take it day at a time. But do you think that I mean, because to me, her energy is heavy too. Do you see that? Do you feel that her energy may be like blocking her from her blessing? That's the second follow up for you, Tiara.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, I mean, she definitely has a vibe, right? She hit it. It seemed like she either has mastered like this Zen energy or she smoked weed a lot. I don't know which one it is, but she got it, right? It
Probably
just seems
both.
like a part of her, like she's really been mastering herself, and she's calm and settled in self. And sometimes people either that can be a vibe that's not for someone, but somebody else can look at it like, man, she looked like peace to me. She looked like
Right.
a whole woman. She looked like a whole snack. She says she's been dating younger men and they get her. It's so funny because Tracy Ellis Ross said that same thing a couple weeks ago on a podcast, on Michelle Obama's podcast. And I don't know if I'm here yet with the energy, in terms of I don't know if I'm there with the energy in terms of the way my energy precedes me, but I think usually when I meet a man, he's like, man, you so cool, man. I love this about you, or I like this about you, or you just seem like you have this, and it never works against me. I'll just say that. It never works against me. The men love me, really.
I love it. And hey, that's just the way that it is. The energy proceeds. Now, Chris says women wasn't meant to know how to find a good partner. A
Mhm.
man is supposed to be a certain level and understand how to choose a good woman. Joe, I'm throwing that to you. Do you agree or disagree with that? You're muted.
I set up because I got to read that for myself because I'm trying to see.
Okay,
I
let's
heard
bring
what you
it back.
said.
Let's
Yeah.
bring it up.
Women wasn't meant to know how to find a good partner. A man is supposed to be at a certain level and understand how to choose a good woman.
Mm.
Hmm.
In my first reaction, I don't like that.
Hmm.
Okay.
I don't like that. Because like I don't know if it takes the women's choice away as well because you have to choose each other. Like it's not
That's true.
a one way. That sounds more one way, and I could be taking him out of context of what he's trying to say. So I don't want to knock his comment, but I would ask him to elaborate more on that so I can understand exactly what he's saying. But at first glance, I think that's missing some aspects of what it takes to make a good connection with somebody.
I think and if I'm wrong, tell me. I think he's saying that women aren't supposed to be the one to try to choose. You're supposed to be approached. And the other ladies on the panel, is that how you're seeing it?
I see it that way, but I think there's a missing link, right? Because we're only mimicking what we've seen before us. So, in theory, yes, a man should be this and developed and choose and cognizant and all of those things. But in reality, a lot of men and women are getting bad information from the people that they see. So, how do you know that you need to be this if nobody in your area is modeling it, right?
Mhm.
How do you know that you are supposed to practice sexual restraint and have sexual discipline if everybody's talking about their sexual prowess around you when you're a young man? So I think it's ideally that should be the blueprint, right? But I think in reality, there's so much other stuff that just factors in that I don't know that that's reality,
Can
but
I
it
just?
is,
Oh,
it should be
and
aspirational.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
It's like
just jump in.
no, no, no. I
Jump
was about to say
in.
I don't want to interrupt because I was just like I want to jump on the tail end of what Lala is saying. I mean, what Marlo is saying. But the way I think about it is like if a man is supposed to be the head and the leader of the household, if he's supposed to be the dominant in the situation, him leading and him choosing, I think is part of that masculinity. And I don't necessarily think that's toxic, but I think when a man chooses a woman, he will in most cases, if he really chooses her, he will not part from her. He will not, he is committed to her. If you half-ass commit to somebody, or you're not, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of got to set the tone. And the woman usually catches up. She usually says, okay, well, look, because there's a different kind of energy that comes to the woman from the man. He's like, I'm on you, and I want you. Women fold to that, and they be like, okay, well, I'm choosing you too. I love that. I love this. I'm choosing this, right? Because he is so committed. And so I think that's what it feels like to me. Yes, there's a choosing from the woman, but ultimately I think the man has to choose you because he's committed to you. Joe, if you hadn't said, okay, Donna, I'm for you, like, Donna couldn't have, like, kind of like folded to that. Yes, she chose you, but there was a certain part of, or a certain energy that I think you had that made her feel comfortable enough to be chosen by you and also choose you.
I hear
That's
that.
the way I look at it.
Agree. Yeah.
I hear
the
that.
energy's there.
I hear that, but I think I have the perspective of seeing lots of women who have good men in pursuit of them, but still don't feel that thing. Like, oh, he's doing all the things correctly. He's a good man from the perspective of, he's doing all the things out in the world that he needs to be doing. But for some reason, I don't feel that thing. But I'm going to sit in this situation because I really don't know if I can do any better or if I will do any better. So I'm like choosing, this man has chosen me, but in return, you're like, I just don't feel it. So it's kind of like, I feel like in that, and I think in the long run, that's going to fail. So when he says what he said, I hear him, and I do, like, I'm hesitant, but I kind of agree. But I have the perspective of knowing that a lot of women do that. They get chose, and they don't feel that thing that keeps them there and engaged.
I would say that's why I'm not married, y'all. Go ahead. I would say that. I meet good men all the time, but there is a bit, like, I gotta have. There has to be, like you said, that staying power as well, and feel that. Because I definitely have had men that has been like, I'll commit to you, and I'm like, I won't commit to you. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want to drag you through the mud, brother. I don't want to do it. Because I don't like you like that.
Interesting. But that's interesting to me because the way I was brought up, my mom was always very, very open, and she always said, marriage is a two-way street, and it's never, you're not always going to be waking up with the fairy tale Cinderella kiss the prince thing. There's going to be times that you fall in and out of love, and how you deal with the times where you're out of love is to remember why you wanted to marry that person in the first place. So even when it gets rocky, you have to get back to the basics. And so I'm going to take a break because this is a question I
want to need fireworks first. You need fireworks in the beginning. You need those. Like, in order for them to go out, you have to have felt them.
Not everybody needs fireworks.
Everybody doesn't need fireworks.
A lot of people,
when times get hard,
a lot of people are choosing partnership as a form of, like, and looking at it from a business.
Survival.
Yeah, and survival. Like, okay, I know that we work well together from a productive standpoint, even if we don't have this fire. A lot of people are choosing that because, like, this, they feel as though this is the best they're going to get. You know what I mean? So, yeah, not everybody.
Fireworks but if you don't have y'all got fireworks and the things, all y'all, listen, y'all inspire me.
Can't get everything. It's it's possible. I'm just saying a lot of people are choosing, especially older relationships. I mean, I've talked in session. Hey, this is a good partnership for me. I've heard someone say that multiple times. This is a good partnership for me. It works for what I'm trying to accomplish in life. So, I mean, some people just give up on the fireworks, but it's possible to get the fireworks.
Dang, I might have to double back on them no fireworks and be like,
fireworks.
Heart hurts with that. It hurts.
Fireworks don't always have a job,
so I know. That's why I'm single, Joe. I need to come sit on the couch.
We gotta take a break, and I'm not letting this now. We'll be right back.
Are you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
We are looking for you. We're looking for you, and your business deserves to be seen because we are being very conscious about our black dollars and our community. We're not spending money where people don't want respect it. They want your money, but they don't really want your business, right? But this is where we are going to pick up. So if you have a business, please make sure you send us all the information. Don't send us half-ass stuff, y'all. Send us everything so that we can put it in the directory and get you seen. All right. So you do that at info@realvirtual.net. Now, listen, I got to dig back into this fireworks thing because I think it's a very interesting aspect. So, Marlo, how do you feel about the fireworks thing? I know we had Joe and Tierra had a nice little back and forth with that, but what are your thoughts on having that initial firework?
I think that, having been in a relationship for a very long time with my ex-husband, we started dating in high school. And there weren't, we were friends. It was platonic. It was fun. We had so much in common, but there wasn't that fire spark, right? There weren't. So I think, to Tiara's point, I get it, Joe. Sometimes it ain't time for no fireworks. Sometimes they just not there. The wick is gone and all of that stuff, right? But to Tiara's point, when there weren't fireworks, right, there wasn't. I think the fireworks would have made me get through like harder times. If there was that feeling in my belly that wasn't anxiety, it was actually that love feeling that we talk about, those butterflies, I think that we would have been able to sustain. But because for my part there wasn't, right? So the arguments weren't worth it. The disagreement between us wasn't worth it, because there wasn't that heat. There wasn't, I don't know. Maybe when I was younger, I needed a little drama. The difference in the now is that I do feel that, right? Even if we disagree, if I leave the house to go run to the gas station and come back, I'm gonna feel that little, oh, it's you. All right, I ain't that mad no more. Like it's a different feeling, and it's not always rosy. And we do have come to Jesus sessions, and we do have to like come to agreements or agree to disagree. So it's not about just a fun loving feeling all the time, but there is something there, like a little unspoken thing. I can't describe what it is, but I didn't feel it previously and I do feel it now. And in this current situation, because I do have that, whatever that tingle, Tiara's fireworks, I feel like there's more desire on my part, right, to work through things. And it's not necessarily like a sexual fire. It's just a feeling that I have. I like this person. I appreciate this person, and I enjoy it. So there is something there underlying between us that makes me want to be more affable and easier to work with and a better partner and a better teammate, right? Because we're all of those things together too. So I don't know. It's intangible, but I like it. I didn't have it and I have it, and I prefer the version with than the version without.
Like a little
I
fight.
actually
You gotta
really
fight. You
love
gotta
that.
fight.
I love that explanation. It's true. Sometimes you can't explain it. It's not, it's more than just fireworks. It's something that you don't really have a name on it. You just feel it. But Dr. Vibe has a really good question, and I think this was a really good one for you, Tierra. And he's asking both the queens. But for me, I don't know if anybody's really interested in me or not. My intake. I don't hear no intake because I got mine. So I'm not really checking for nobody else's energy. But Dr. Vibe wants to know, do you find that some men are intimidated by your positive energy? And that's totally you, Miss Black Hollywood, and knowing who you are.
I hate the word intimidated. I hate the word, you know what I mean? I hate it so much, especially when it comes to men and women. So I'll just say that, like, and this is me disarming. I disarm women. So I know for sure I disarm men. Like I can see a woman and be like, sis, your shirt is so cute. And she'll be like, oh my God, thank you so much. And before I know it, I have a friend. And so with men, I kind of do the same thing just with people in general. I know sometimes people walk around with armor on them all day long. So I just try to be myself. And so usually that works for me. I wouldn't say it's intimidated. Sometimes I do get weird energy, but I always be like, what's that? Like, what is that energy? I don't associate it with being intimidated though. So to answer your question, I think sometimes men think that they are not good enough for me. I have heard, you know, I've heard all of the things. I've heard, man, you need a man like Barack Obama. Like somebody was like, man, yeah, I don't know. Like you need a man like this, or like just men giving like, men, famous men or whatever, so I hear that a lot, and I think it keeps people from getting to know me in a real way, because they I mean, that's a personal thing with them. Like I can't be like, no, you're great, you deserve me. Like if you don't feel that way, you gotta work on that.
That's a really good take. Some things are on other people, not you. You can't take that on. So, but Marlo, you're also, in TV film. So, and not only in a loving relationship or, an intimate relationship, do you find that to be intimidating of people around you in your job?
No, but I mean, kind of like Tiara, my energy brings people down. Like it calms people. I have a calming energy. And so I think now I will say, because of where I am from and the cloth that I am cut from, I have to be wary that I am not flirting, right? I have to be aware that I am keeping hard lines, because sometimes when I sit down and I do an interview, people get so comfortable with me, and they have my number, I have their number. Before you know it, they like texting me. I'm like, what is it? What is this? This is no, right? So I know for myself, I have to, like, I hate intimidate too, because I don't think it's intimidating. I think I just have a calming energy, right? I can sit down and talk to men about football or politics or whatever you're interested in. I probably have a base level knowledge of it, right? Or because I'm a naturally curious person, I'll be like, oh, well, what's that? I've never been spelunking before. Tell me about that, right? And because of who I am naturally, sometimes that does come across as flirty. Sometimes that does come across as interest that I don't really have in you. I'm just feeling the moment, right? And learning from a person. And then I'm going to go on about my business. I'll have your splunking information in my head. I'll be able to share a little bit about that. And maybe I'll go research it a little bit. But I'm not interested in people like that. So I think for me, it's more about curbing that enthusiasm, right? Yes, I'm here with you in this moment, and you may feel like this is a great moment that we are having together, but I have to be in control and not let people misread the room, because I've had men and women, I'm like, whoa, sis, like this, what? No,
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
who said that, right?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa there. Whoa there.
Oh, so Johnny, I'm going to flip that question for you, because do you think that I mean, because I would like to hear the male perspective. Do you think that some men are intimidated or kind of like pull back because a woman's positive energy and knowing who she is might be a little threatening to them?
Threatening, yeah. Yeah, I can use the word threat, because what I mean, you're at a state in your mind, in your mindset, that you're used to certain things, or you might have a little bit of a hero complex thing going on. So a woman who's positive and full might feel like a threat, because you start telling yourself that you are not necessary, you are not needed. What do you bring to the table? And I guess I'm agree with Tierra on, like, I don't like to use the word intimidated, because I don't know if that's it. I just kind of feel like what happens is that people aren't secure in themselves a lot of times, and used to a situation where that's not necessarily how you're needed. And but also, there's a lot of situations that I have observed where a woman has not done a good enough job identifying what her needs are so that they can be met in that way. So it's a two-way street. But yeah, I do think that some people pull back. Some men do pull back because they feel like they are not needed. And I
Hmm.
think one of the main principles of, perceived masculinity is the 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 need to be needed, for lack of a better
Hmm.
term.
I think that's important. I've seen that. I've actually had a couple of friends who have told me that they wouldn't approach a lady because he thought maybe, she's got a little bit too much, she's a little too bright for me right now. And that to me tells me that they have to go and check their own brightness first, right? So maybe you shouldn't, because then they're not going to be equally yoked anyway. But this has really been a great conversation. I don't know about y'all, but I really enjoyed seeing Cree and have her epiphany, and I liked everything that we brought into, because we all want to be loved. We all want to be able to tap into that special type of love, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a part of being human. And so I think it's time for us to kind of turn into our final thoughts. And Joe, I know you just got through speaking, but I want to hear your final thoughts, and please tell us where we can find you, because we'd love to make sure people hook up with you. Muted.
Keep failing at that. Anyway, find me on my podcast. It's gonna be, I gotta pull back a little bit, so it's gonna be bi-weekly now on Tuesday nights. Vulnerability is the new sexy. We're having these type of conversations on there where people can come into situations more whole and identify things that they need to work on in order to come into these situations and find the person you need to find. And you can find me at realuconsulting.com. But I'll just be quick on my final thought. You know what I mean? Like, first things first, accountability is one of the cornerstones of healing, and also one of the cornerstones of finding a committed partner in a good relationship that fits you. So that's the first part: be accountable. And when I say being accountable, I want you to be accountable to your own healing. Close those wounds up, so that you can, so you, when the person that comes along is there, then you're not looking for them to close them up for you. So I'll just say that. And there's plenty of other things that I can say about this, but I really want y'all to work on yourselves so that y'all can be ready for the person that's supposed to be for you.
I love that. Work on yourself so that you can be ready to be with that person that is supposed to be with you. Listen, Joe always gives such wonderful thoughts, and he means it when he says he wants to help you get healthy. So make sure that you check into him, tap into the show, tap into his social media. If you need some help to balance yourself, get yourself together, reach out to him for his consulting, because you know what, as you can tell, he comes from a place of a beautiful heart. So we thank you, Joe, for being here. Marlo, what is your final thoughts, and where can we find you?
My final thought is love and romance relationships are so beautiful when you find the person that is for you. Like Joe said, be accountable. Understanding who you are is the first step in understanding who you want and who you need in a partner. I think standards are great, but maybe evaluate your standards. What are you looking for, right? Who is looking for you, and how is that either aligned or not aligned? Be safe out here, guys. Do your research, do your back end research, do all the things that you need to do, because as much as it is great to fall in love, there are obviously pitfalls if you choose the wrong partner, including time waste, because we don't have time to waste. If you're looking for me, you can find me at themarlogroup.com. You can sign up for our newsletter. I'm going to be starting to push out your digital bestie and all the tips that you need to go through and live in a digital world, how a digital world can help grow your business, and how it can even make your home life a little bit more efficient. So reach out to the Marlo Group, sign up for that newsletter. It's going to be coming out bi-weekly starting in June.
I want in. I want in, and I'm going to make sure I put mine in there. So, guys, she's giving you an assignment. Hook up with Marlo. Now, Marlo, how are you on your health journey? Because, baby, you are giving all the glow. When is your competition?
The competition, oh, so sad. The competition is on May 24th. I have decided I'm not going to do it Because for me, I still have some bumps where I would like it to be smooth and the lights. You know, I'm still a girl that when I show up on stage, I want to look good. And I got to feel good about me. Obviously, I wanted to get on this year, but I'm just not there yet. And I'm not going to hurt myself to get there. So I have a nice full year now to keep training, keep eating right, and getting the best results. And you know, maybe I'll break out of my fear of oversharing and start helping some people that want to venture out on a health journey of their own. But
See, I love
a
that.
girl got to get there first. I gotta get to where I'm trying to go before I can tell
Part
you.
of the journey. Part of the journey. Well, I will say you look fantastic. We've seen a huge change. I mean, like just a huge change when you just started this whole thing. So we still have pom poms up. We are here for you. So
And I'm
make sure you reach out.
still
Y'all
eating
man.
food that doesn't taste delicious, but it's doing
Yes.
great things for my body.
Yep. Thanks, Marlo. Thanks for giving me that.
Oh man, I gotta have the good food.
You got an album
Tia.
coming out. We could go harder if you want.
Oh man, I need to go harder actually. Like you see me. And I'm pretty sure you've seen a video. Like I'm out here. I need to get like anyway, this is not about me yet. Go ahead. Go ahead, Marlo.
No, it's your turn. It's the Marlo group.
Man, I need to run like Lala every morning. Like I'm still jiggling, y'all, but I don't care because we're gonna do it anyway.
That's all right because you got your own journey, right? So, but what is your final thoughts and where can we find you? Because you got a lot going on.
I do have a lot going on in the best ways, guys. I feel like I'm living my best life lately. So it pertaining to the topic, I think I still am gonna stick by what I say. I think that he who findeth a wife finds a good thing. And I feel like there's a knowing, and sometimes if we're talking from a spiritual place, I think that we're hidden until we're ready. And so sometimes I feel like maybe we have not met the person that we are meant to meet because we have not been aligned. Maybe that person is still working on themselves and wants to show up as the best version of them. I just believe in timing. I think that it's a real thing. I feel like everything happens when it's supposed to. And if I'm not married by now, then I'm not supposed to be. And so I say that to you. If you are not married, if you are recently divorced and on a journey, we are all on a journey. And it's okay to be 55 and just be like, dang, I've been doing this wrong the whole time. I've said that to myself, like, I have not picked a good partner. Like I have not picked a good uh I didn't know how to pick it. And I think that's a real thing for people, not knowing how to pick what's good for them and just like looking to other people. We're so you talked about earlier, Lala, being socialized to look around and see what other people are doing. And that's how that's how we learn, right? So you're looking at all the wrong people do all the wrong things and we're making those wrong decisions. So I think that's part of it. And, I think timing is part of it. So to anyone listening, if you have not found your love match, I'm putting that energy out there for you. Um, in terms of what I'm doing, so I will be in Miami with Dr. Boyce at the Economic Elevation Summit this Friday and Saturday. We will be in Miami, Florida. There is a streaming version, but if you are going to be in Miami, I cannot wait to meet you. I am going to show you how to tell your story and sell your products around telling your story because it's a real thing. So showing you how to monetize that beautiful story that you have because we all have one. And then I'm also I'm shooting my first music video for my first single called I Don't Want That. The video shoot is on the 20th. So if you know, I have not been on Instagram that much, y'all, because I'm doing an overhaul on the Miss Black Hollywood thing and just kind of creating a music page. So I don't really update, but if you know me, you know that I am a Facebooker. So you can see like from day to day, I've been documenting the process of me working with a choreographer and getting ready for the 20th because it's coming. And so I'm excited. It's a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun. I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Lala.
And that's the point. It should be. You should be having a time of your life. You should do this thing screaming, y'all. That's what we're doing. Happiness and screaming and moving forward. So here's my final thoughts. And I'm going to come at it just a little bit different because I am on the other side and I've been married for 30, get ready to be 33 years. Listen, once you do have that partner, once you found that spark, once you're with that person, the work doesn't end. That spark still needs to stay lit. And just remember that you both have to be in a happy place to continue that. So once you have that person, make sure that you work on yourself and together to make sure that you are still equally yoked so that you both can still be happy continuing on into old age. And may you be on the rocking chair on your front patio. That's what we're going to be, playing music and singing. And 90 years old, that's what we're going to be. But we're going to make sure that we're both healthy for ourselves and each other to continue in a beautiful relationship. So that is where my comment for you. Here's where you can find me. www.laurakey.net. I have a few free things for you there, but here's the thing. Listen, you ain't got to stay in the United States. If you want to get up out of there and you want to see the world, you want to ride this life screaming, like I said, and that's a part of something that you want to do, go download my free quiz to help you decide if you are ready to move abroad and what that takes. So it's a big checklist. So go ahead and do that. And I look forward to talking to you and helping you realize that dream. So thank you for tuning in today. Choosing the right partner is one of the most important decisions that we can make, but it's also one of the toughest. So we want to keep this conversation going, and we want to continue to empower ourselves to make better choices, confidently stepping into love and trust that we deserve what's best for us. So until next time, we want you to keep your mindset strong and your money flowing. We want to say thank you to everyone who's been here today. You know, I always like to shout y'all out because you know what? You make the show. Black Lexicon, C. White, Walterine, Dr. Vibe. We love Mackie, Lawrence. We appreciate you. So have a blessed day. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be blessed. Peace out.